Sure, sure.
Hey there, Mayor Pro Tem. Running, but I'm great. How are you? Good. It's beautiful weather. Are they able to?
Hey, Madam Mayor.
Wonderful. Love that pink.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey there.
Oh no. That's true.
Star student over here, Jen. You said that last week. I beat you, Howard.
We need these for GMA.
You're on council for as long as I've been. You accumulate.
I figured when you gave me the shirt last week, and I was like, she's probably not gonna use this, but we'll make it all the same. I did confirm that we do not have to retain that agreement.
Okay.
So we have to retain that, so they come back and say, she didn't do this, because you told me she didn't.
Yeah.
So we'll remove it, and we'll have it for Thursday open next week.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see, you can figure out your size, if you don't know already. We'll get the gray one and dye it.
What color choices? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you circled it, that's fine. See, I got new glasses and I still can't see. Some red ones? No.
I just saw a name, I caught my note.
Stargell.
Stargell.
It used to be baseball.
Yeah, Willie Stargell. Remember when he
Willie
was with Pirates
Stargell,
back
Pittsburgh. That's
in
right.
the 70s? I wonder if there's any time. I mean, how common is that name? I have no idea.
I know. No, when I read through Congressman Scott's bio, I didn't know he was from Scranton, Pennsylvania. He was born in, like in Mississippi, but he was shipped to his grandparents in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
So we met Jeff Duncan.
Oh, yes.
Sure, he grew up in Leechburg, Pennsylvania,
Really?
which is just outside Pittsburgh.
Okay. I like him.
And he played minor baseball for 6 years with the Miami organization.
Okay. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he explained his conversion, why he voted for the Hartford bill. What he said is like, I had 3 pregnancies and 1 kid, we had no issues. So I pass out anybody else's sheets.
Oh, she was a good.
The emergencies that can happen, the horrible choices that some women have.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So you understand,
Your name. Can I write what your name should be?
I think it would be appropriate.
Hey, you can write one of mine if I can write one of yours.
You can write those sheets as well, to Willie Stargell. Sure.
I'll call to order the Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is May 14th, Thursday, May 14th, 2026. Our invocation will be done by the elder, Dr. Cynthia D. Stargell, Be Restored Worship Center. We'll ask you to come forward. After we have the invocation, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller. Please stand for the invocation.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson, and to the council. A brief word of scripture from Psalm 61, 1 and 2. Hear my cry, O God, attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather in service to the Douglasville community. We ask for your wisdom to guide every agenda item, every discussion, every decision, and every action taken in this meeting. Let all business be conducted decently and in order. Grant these council members clarity of mind, integrity of heart, and a sincere commitment to the people they serve. Help them to lead with fairness, compassion, courage, and humility, especially when facing difficult choices. Bless our city with peace, unity, safety, and progress. Strengthen families, encourage local businesses, protect our first responders, our educators and public servants, and help neighbors show concern for one another. May this meeting be conducted with respect, civility, and a shared desire for the common good of Douglasville. Let every voice be heard with dignity, and let wisdom prevail over division. We pray for guidance beyond human understanding and for the well-being of all who call this city home. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge. And Dr. Stargell, are you related to Willie Stargell? You are?
Pirate fan.
Welcome. Unique name. Very good. I'd like to welcome you. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'd like to welcome you all to the Douglasville City Council. This is our legislative work session where the business that we're discussing this evening under the agenda items are presented for discussion only, and no official action will be taken this evening. Official action will be taken on these items discussed tonight next Monday at our voting meeting. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your business. I'll go over a few protocol items I need to make everyone aware of before we start the meeting. I ask that you please listen closely so that we will be no misunderstandings about how tonight's meeting will be conducted. I ask that you would please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair. If you deviate from this requirement, a second deviation will result in a request for you to leave the chambers and premises for the evening. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud or react to speakers. Speak from the audience, cheer, carry on a conversation with others in the audience, or be disruptive. During the meeting when you're at the podium, we ask that you would only direct your comments and concerns to myself or the city council members who are the chair of those particular committees. I remind you that we're only required to accept public comments during the required public hearings. We are not required to accept public comments on other items before this council that are not part of the public hearing process. We will maintain order. As the chair of this meeting, at any time during the meeting, I'm prepared to stop public comments or on any agenda item if I believe the general good of the meeting will not be beneficial for the action and the comments that are being said by the audience. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, I ask that you please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting. And this is how the agenda items will be handled. The committee chairperson will read his or her item, then that person representing that item in turn or applicant will make his or her presentation. This will be the first opportunity for you to present your information. Myself and council members will possibly ask questions to help us make a determination for the vote that we're going to take next Monday. Then myself and council members will proceed, and you have about 20 minutes, exactly you have 20 minutes for those who are in favor of the item and 20 minutes for those in opposition. Each person has 5 minutes to speak in totality. When you come forward to speak, there are some cards. Well, I think there's a form actually instead of a card, but you fill the form out and you hand it to our assistant city clerk, Ms. Candace James. She will take that information and put it into the official record. Each person has one opportunity to speak. This is not a question and answer format or debate. We're not here to debate. We ask that you present your information. If we're able to answer the question, the staff will do that at this time, or we'll come back to you at another time via email to provide you with the information and answer. Please address your comments to the chair of that committee, not to the members of the audience. And I believe that's it. Oh, no, during our citizens and comments delegation period, we will not address zoning items that will have already been discussed on the public hearing for each zoning applicant. The time to address those concerns will be during the citizens' comments section of the public hearing. Allowing those comments outside of the public hearing violates the Georgia State Zoning Procedures Act. So if you have concerns about zoning matters and planning and development, the time to discuss those is during that 20 minutes. For those in favor opposition, we will not hear any concerns after that during the public hearing. But when you want to come up after for comments from citizens and delegates, you can come up and talk to us about any other business germane to the city of Douglasville, but not the zoning, but not the zoning concerns. That's a whole lot of talking. Hopefully we're all on the same page. There are some agendas outside if you like to pick one up, or you can follow us on the screen. And now I will proceed with the agenda as it is printed and presented. So we're now at announcements. We have a presentation by myself of a proclamation regarding May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Recognition Week with the theme Rooted in Service, Powered by Community in the city of Douglasville. That's item 26-146. I will read the proclamation. I don't know if there's someone here from Public Works. Ms. Burdette, are you here to accept? So you can come forward if whoever wants to come with you, and then you can have any comments that you'd like to make, and we'll read the proclamation and then take a photo. Office of the Mayor, Rochelle Robinson, Proclamation, National Public Works Week, May 17th through the 23rd, 2026. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vitally important to the sustainability and resilience to communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Douglasville, Georgia. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of our public works professionals, who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas It is the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Douglasville, Georgia, to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th year of the annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Be it now resolved, I, Rochelle Robinson, Mayor of the City of Douglasville, and the Douglasville Council do hereby designate the week of May 17th through 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join me in the City Council to recognize the hard work and dedicated service of our public works professionals, our engineers, our managers, and employees. Do all for the community of community of Douglasville and their day-to-day work. The basics in protecting our health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all, so proclaimed this 14th day of May 2026. Let's give Ms. Burdette, our Director of Public Works, a hand. Would you like to say anything, Ms. Melissa?
We just appreciate y'all's support.
Yes, ma'am. You have anyone from the team you want to bring down, take photos with you? She said, come on. All right, the council and myself will please come around. Let's take a photo with Ms. Melissa Burdette.
Councilwoman Miller, can you step back a little bit? Yeah, perfect. Back over this way a little bit. Yep, there you go. Perfect. A little bit more this way. There you go. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
All right, that was the fun stuff. Now we'll move on. We're at item number 5, which is Economic Development Committee, and that's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Council Member Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
Welcome.
one item under the Economic Development Committee at this time, and that is to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Retail Strategies, LLC, for professional consulting services for retail recruitment strategies in the city of Douglasville in the amount of $50,000 per year for a 3-year term. Ms. Chelsea Jackson will fill us on that.
Yes, and we do have a representative from Retail Strategies, Ms. Sarah Beth Stewart. As she come down, I'll remind you all that during your mayor and council strategic planning session, this is one of your goals set forth for the year for staff to acquire a firm to do retail strategies, and this will be for 3 years. The total amount is $150,000, but it's $50,000 for each year. But I'll turn it over to Ms. Sarah Beth.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, staff, and public. Thank you for allowing me to be here today and for this item on the agenda. You guys did see me a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and we talked about retail recruitment, and we talked a lot about data, real estate, and finding the right fit for the community. So Retail Strategies, again, we were born out of a commercial real estate firm, so that's the lens that we look through. We act as the extension of city staff to take a proactive approach to the right retail. The first 30 days, we're really going to spend studying who the consumers are, not just residents, but who has the opportunity to shop in Douglasville and spend their dollars here. We're going to study their different traffic patterns, talking about their spending habits, their buying patterns, and really understanding who that consumer is, what they're willing to spend their money on. Then we come and we're going to spend some time looking at your real estate assets. So data is great to have, but if you don't have the right commercial real estate asset, well, you can't really have a commercial real estate transaction. So we'll look at those different real estate assets and then pair that with the right retail prospect. So our retail recruitment plan will evaluate the data, the assets, and then who is actually expanding in retail right now is who we should be targeting for growth in Douglasville. From there, our team will call on those brokers, developers, retailers, tenant reps, franchisees, property owners, whoever's going to have a seat at the table saying, we've got this site in Douglasville. It fits all of your site selection criteria. What is it going to take to get you here? And then we report back to you on what is said, the good, the bad, the ugly. If it's a yes, great. What is the next steps? If it's a no, why is it a no? And is there something that we can do to turn it into a yes? We might look through different incentives and different policies and different things of that nature that we can then move the needle to get the retail that we want in our community. We also attend trade shows on your behalf. So the Super Bowl of all retail trade shows starts on Tuesday. It's ICSC Vegas. The other one that's applicable is in the fall in October, and that's ICSC Atlanta. There's a few other regional shows that we attend also on your behalf. Again, reporting back to you on what is said at those on the conferences with those conversations.
Okay, thank you very much. You did a pretty good job on presenting at our strategic planning session, so that's why you're here today to present this. I'll open the floor up to the council members and Mayor if anybody has any questions or comments this time. Councilman Estes, we'll start with you.
I think this is really exciting. I'm very impressed with retail strategies, but this is, I know I'm not the only one that gets approached constantly by citizens. Why don't we have this? Why don't we have this? Can we get some more of this, X, Y, and Z? And this is exactly how we can accomplish that and at least find out what the realities are of what we can expect and when. So I'm all in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam Mayor, did you have something?
No, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman Caldwell.
Yes, to echo Councilman Estes' sentiments, I'm super excited about this. I think I'll be even more excited about a timeline. So I know we're looking at the agreement, but what is the typical timeline that we could kind of look forward to maybe signing some contracts for some new retail industries to be able to come in the city of Douglasville?
Yeah, that's what we're here to do, right? See those doors open, the cash registers flowing, right? So I'll talk a little bit about our process and what that looks like, and then I'll talk about the real estate retail process very briefly. It's very extensive on the retail real estate world, but I'll talk briefly about that. Our process, the first 30 days is really studying the demographics. The next 30 days is that real estate assessment. Usually by day 90, day 100 is when we have our retail recruitment plan in your hands. You guys, of course, get to say, yep, we like all those retail brands, or nope, cross this off. We have a great local pizza shop. We don't want any more pizza shops, whatever the case. From there, that's really when our true recruitment efforts start. Now, a retailer, they work on a timeline of 18 to 36 months. A Dunkin' Donuts, a Dollar General, those are usually like a 9-month turnaround, but I have a feeling that those are not really our true prospects. So others are on that 5, 10, sometimes 15 years, just depending on who it is. Now, I'm not saying that that is what's going to happen. A lot of times when we get started in a partnership with communities very similar to Douglasville, we hear that brands are sniffing around but just haven't found the right site. So we try to plug them in as quickly as possible. So that's a lot of times we work with city staff to say, have you had any calls from any of those retailers? What can we try to influence now? Maybe they just haven't found the right site, or maybe they're working through whatever process that they're going through, and we can push that over the finish line more quickly. To see a true win from the very first moment we have a conversation with someone to the very end, probably looking at year 2 into that process, but hopefully having influence way sooner than that, depending on what retailers are currently looking.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Councilman Caldwell. Any other comments or questions? Well, just to echo Councilman Estes' point, a lot of people seem to think that there is a bring Costco to Douglasville department somewhere within the city government, or the bring Whole Foods to Douglasville department, and there really isn't such a department, but this is as close as we get. So thank you for the presentation. At this time, if there's no objections, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda for Monday. Okay.
Looks
I think
like a
we're
go.
agreed. All right, Madam Mayor, thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you, Chelsea.
Thank you.
That is all we have under the Economic Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Appreciate that. We'll move on then to item number 6, which is Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have 3 items tonight.
Yes, sir.
Item A is to adopt an ordinance to amend the City of Douglasville's fiscal year 2025-2026 general fund budget, and Ms. Callen will handle this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Karen Callen, Chief Financial Officer and Assistant City Manager, 6758 Spring Street. This is the 3rd budget amendment for our current fiscal year, which is fiscal year 26, and a few items required budget to be amended. We talked a little bit about this during our budget planning session or our budget work session a few months ago. Building permits have outperformed the current budget due to Microsoft and some apartments that were not originally projected at the beginning of the fiscal year. A second largest transaction on this budget amendment is the purchase of buildings in order to construct City Hall. And in addition, we are distributing health insurance premiums to the department lines. And after all the transactions net together, we will increase the contingency line by $103,000. Another notable increase is that with the excess revenues, we're going to allocate $1.2 million to reserve in our fund balance to fund construction of the new City Hall. And let's see, any other. All right, that's the final summary. And going over some of the revenue lines that I didn't mention, we do have $230,000 in excess of original budgeted revenue from Georgia Power, $457,000 in excess revenue from Greystone Power, and those are due to the franchise fees from Microsoft. We are having to decrease our local option sales and use by $500,000 due to a Department of Revenue adjustment. And then just $73,000 increase for park athletics. For our expenditures, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we are distributing $220,000 to our department lines for health insurance premiums, and then adding $103,000 to our contingency line. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yes, Madam Mayor, let's start with you. Did you not have anything?
I don't have any,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right.
Just, you saw the question mark on my face.
It looked like you had a question mark. I misread. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Director Callen.
Anybody on the council that would like to ask a question? Ms. Callen, I appreciate that report, and I'd like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday, if that would be okay.
Looks good.
All right, good deal. We'll move right along here to item B, adopt an ordinance to amend the City of Douglasville's fiscal year 2025-2026 Public Safety Debt Fund budget. Ms. Callen?
Yes, sir. This is to combine the 2 budgets for the public safety building and the Jesse Davis Park building, but it nets to 0. So it's basically just a housekeeping item.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions about it?
Yep.
Any questions? No? All right. I imagine since the first item went on the consent agenda, the second item will go on there too. All right, item C. And we're going to thank you, Ms. Callen, for those 2 items. Authorize the mayor to sign a guaranteed maximum price amendment with the Winter Construction Company, LLC, for City Hall demolition services in the amount of $773,033 to be funded from the general fund budget. And Ms. Jackson will handle this one. Or, I don't know who's.
I'll start, and then I'll
You get
kick
it
it
started.
off to Jacob Adams, who's with CPS, our project managers for this project. As Councilman Watts stated, this is for demolition services only for the construction of the new City Hall in the amount of a little over $700,000. In a couple of weeks, staff will be back before you for a guaranteed maximum price for the full construction project. But in order to just get the project started and keep it moving, we did remove the demolition services out into a separate agreement so we can begin mobilization of that part. But I'll turn it over to Mr. Adams to explain the rest of the agreement.
Good evening. Jacob Adams, 4150 Ashford Dunwoody Road, Brookhaven, Georgia. A little bit about what this approval is for is a component GMP. So as some of you may know, a component GMP package is issued and executed prior to the GMP to start some enabling work for a construction process. Sometimes it's done with long lead items, so you can procure the lead items in advance. In our case, is done so for the abatement and demolition of the building to get that done prior to execution of the GMP so we can get that scope of work done prior to that approval. Currently, we are reviewing the GMP documents. There's a long vetting process to review the assumptions and clarifications, the RFIs, the actual pricing, the sub-bid backup itself. So it's a very lengthy process. Branching this part of work now allows us to go ahead and start that enabling work prior to actually getting into the footings for the building, the alley work, and then eventually the vertical construction aspect of the building itself. So this is purely preliminary work. As Chelsea referred to, we'll be coming back for a full GMP once we've vetted it thoroughly and reviewed it internally with the design and construction team to make sure everything matches up. That'll be for the full building scope itself for the full amount, but this amount is for the enabling work process. I know there was some questions that we got on the limits of disturbance, so to speak, on what would actually be demoed. So I do have the demolition plan in hand that I can show you all that shows the demolition area of the building. It will just be for the current City Hall itself. There will be no utilities. There will not be anything associated with the plaza itself or any of the paver work. I have a paver demolition plan as well that shows the pavers that will be impacted down the road, outlining that area as well. So I have that document in hand too that I can share if there are any questions regarding the areas that will be demoed.
Thank you, Jacob. Yes, Mayor, Councilman Estes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jacob, we all understand this is going to be a headache for a lot of people. There have already been some concerns with some of the businesses downtown. And it's not that they don't understand what's coming. They just need some warning over any kind of interruption of business time. Now, that's obviously primarily along the alleyway, which it sounds like that's not happening for a while.
Yes, sir.
But if we could just, I just want to impress upon you and for you to impress upon Winter to warn those business people with as much warning as possible when there's going to be any potential of an issue for them so that they can prepare accordingly.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you, Jacob. We appreciate the report.
Absolutely.
And in conjunction to what Councilman Estes said, do you have a time frame when some dirt's going to be moving?
Yes, so demolition itself is still a while out.
Okay.
Not a while out, but we'll have the abatement process first and foremost. So as part, due to it being a demo building, there's a process that goes through the state that you do have to make sure there's no asbestos in the building itself. There was some found which requires the abatement protocol, obviously before you disturb it or fry it, which at that point can become hazardous. So there is an abatement protocol in place. That will take roughly 3 to 4 weeks after Memorial Day holiday when their crew can mobilize. After that 4-week span is when we'll start mobilizing and get ready to demo. So we do have about a month to make sure that we're getting the proper notice out there of the demolition preparing to take place. As you had referred to, the actual utility work will be further down the road. Right now, we're circling the August timeframe for the actual utility work. So that's still a little bit out before we have to directly impact the businesses, so to speak, in terms of when we can coordinate our transfer overs or our switch overs for any of the utilities, gas, power, water, et cetera. So we'll make sure that we continue to provide notice as those dates get solidified and keeping them in the loop as much as possible.
Okay, so August timeframe, possibly.
For the actual utility work, yes, ma'am.
For utility work, but before that, maybe July for something that's going to be shaken, like to tell the businesses, to kind of have them prepared to brace themselves and to, I know you showed us already preliminary plans on how you were going to protect the building in the alleyway and all of that, but just in that late spring, summer, early fall.
Right, yeah, absolutely. There will be protection overhead protection mitigation in place. There's different vibration technologies too that the construction team will be utilizing to make sure that the foundations of the neighboring buildings aren't going to be impacted all throughout demolition. So we have a lot of protocols in place that we're taking into consideration.
Okay, and the plaza will still be usable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thanks so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before I go to Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Jackson, could you just kind of elaborate the staff's role in, to Councilman Ness's questions about notification? You were sharing with me earlier how staff will be handling that.
Yes, so we've already had a downtown town hall regarding City Hall, and we talked about the three-phase process, so the utility, the demolition, as well as construction of that. We will also, and Jacob and I have spoken, that we'll get in front of businesses 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks in advance to send out letters. We will be myself, I'll be walking around to all the businesses. I just want to make sure that I'm able to speak with those managers and those owners, especially those that we will have to have a temporary easement plan and agreement in place with them as well. So I will be speaking with them the next few months. I will have a lot of conversations regarding temporary easements, but also demolition, certain utility phases throughout that.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Mayor Pro Tem, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Where are you going to be staging from when you start the demolition process?
So I believe it's on the actual demolition plan, but the intent is to use the current parking area that's out front, so we're not impacting on Church Street, and they'll be working from, I believe, the alleyway behind the Pope building coming in, essentially. So everything will be coming inward to not impact any of the transportation or various business operations.
You're saying you will close off, we'll lose those parking spaces temporarily along Church Street, though, correct?
Yes, sir. That'll be where their fencing is going to be primarily set up to not actually impact Church Street itself.
Okay. And then I noticed on the scope of work drawings, it does delimit almost the entire O'Neill Plaza. And I know you said that we're not demolishing O'Neill, but I understand there is going to be some utility placement, so there's going to be some disruption on O'Neill Plaza, correct?
I have the, I can reshare. O'Neill Plaza will remain operational in terms of the actual demolition of the building itself. We have the logistics plan that shows where the fencing will be outlined. I can share that as well, too, to make sure that you receive that, to show specifically where the logistics will be in place. The actual demolition plan itself incorporates the entirety of the project. Eventually, O'Neill Plaza, obviously due to the upgrades that will take place, there will be demolition underway, but that'll be further down the line once the building vertical construction is already taking place.
Okay, yeah, I know we're losing the fountain, unfortunately. That's going to eventually happen. When we rebuilt O'Neill Plaza, we did a lot of the utility work at that point too. So I know that a lot of the utilities should be updated already as far as that. So just I'm sure you've seen the plan, so you're cognizant of that. Just don't touch my stage.
No, sir. Stage will not be touched.
Thank you.
Our stage.
We tend to be
His design.
proprietary in the architectural business.
His design.
Councilman Davis.
Yes, once again, thanks again. And during the time of 4th of July, we have a major 4th of July parade. And I'm hoping that we can start demolition after our parade because we're going to need them those parking spots for the major 4th of July parade.
Yes, sir. We'll certainly coordinate with events and keep any events in mind to make sure we're limiting any impacts to the city, any city events, or as much as possible. We want to be mindful. We want to be good stewards and good neighbors throughout this process. So we'll be in coordination with Chelsea and the events team to make sure we're avoiding as many impacts as possible.
Anything after 4th of July, you're wide open.
And I'll add to that, if we do demolition before the 4th of July, staff and I, we've already sat down and talked about just limiting the viewing area to be on that side of Church Street during that time. So we'll have a viewing area basically on this side of Church Street. But of course, as you know, the 4th of July parade stretches through the entire Church Street. So there will be a lot of viewing spaces and viewing areas for individuals that are attending that parade.
Sir, anyone else? Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Jacob. And we'll place that on consent agenda if that would be all right.
Looks good.
with council? All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all
Would
we
you
have
like any of
tonight.
the plans that I printed off, or would you like any of the plans that I printed off, or are you guys good?
Sure, yeah, you can leave them with, yeah.
Thanks so
All right,
much.
Madam Mayor,
Jerry.
that's all I had tonight under finance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and for the conversation to the council, and thank you, Jacob, from CPS coming to present to us. We'll move on to Housing and Community Affairs Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Elena Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under the Housing and Community Affairs Committee this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 8, which is the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
You're
a couple of
welcome.
items on the Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee agenda tonight.
Yes,
And
sir.
the first is to authorize the mayor to sign an inmate housing agreement with Douglas County, Georgia for the housing, custody, and care of city inmates at the Douglas County Jail. Deputy Chief J.R. Davidson will fill us in on this.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
This is an agreement with Douglas County for the housing and routine medical care of city prisoners. It's done every 2 years. The last one was agreed upon in 2023. The major change in this year's agreement is that the cost per day per prisoner has gone from $60 to $80.
That's non-negotiable?
There was a negotiation that took place.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
So
120.
it could have been worse.
It was 120.
Oui, go well. Okay. Any other questions or comments from council? Madam Mayor?
I do have a question. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Deputy Chief. I know it was a negotiation. Things have gone up in 2 years. And so this does not affect our service delivery agreement with the county, does it?
I don't believe it does.
Okay, so, and in 2 years, we negotiate again, just based on the economy and whatever else it takes for the county to house our prisoners that we have, correct?
That's correct. The jail uses what the current costs they have associated with medical care. Because the contract, it does include routine medical care for our prisoners, the same that any state prisoner has in the jail. Any emergency or non-routine care, the city has to pay for in addition.
Okay. So when the dog bites, then and they go, and I'm serious, when we have the dog bite and they have to take them, we pay for that, and then they're in the prison, so we don't pay. It's just after the hospital. Is that how that works?
So if a prisoner is injured, they have to be treated before the jail will accept them. So the jail will not accept them until they're able to use just routine care for whatever injury they had. A lot of times for city prisoners, we take steps so that we don't incur any extra costs based on the charges
Yes,
to
sir.
try and reduce that.
Okay, I just remember the dog, one of our K-9s, had to find someone, and he got bitten, and then it was back and forth, and he was in the hospital, but he could not be admitted until after he was released from the hospital to go to the jail. And we pay before they go to jail, and then however many days or weeks, then we pay that per day fee.
Correct. And it depends on the nature of the injury, how the injury happened to the person, whether the city pays it or declines to pay, and it would be covered by insurance and other means.
Okay. Thank you so much, Deputy Chief. I appreciate your explanation.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any additional questions or comments? Councilwoman Miller.
Thank you, Chair. And I'm a little embarrassed to ask this question. I just don't know. If someone goes to jail and they stay in the jail, we pay for that as a city. But the person who's actually in jail doesn't have to pay for their stay there?
No, I don't believe it's legal to make people pay for their stay in jail. And these are only for city prisoners, so it's only cases that are heard in city court. If we arrest somebody for any type of felony or cases that have to go to Superior Court, we do not pay this daily fee. It's covered as because they're a state prisoner at that point.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Watts, you have a question?
Yeah, Deputy Chief, I read over number 16 under payment, add-on funds, and for some reason, my brain's not big enough to wrap around it. I don't understand what that means there.
So that is under state law. The jail can charge, it's basically 10% of any fine amount or bond amount if the person isn't adjudicated in city court. 10% of that fine goes to the jail. And the law states that they're not allowed to use it for county general funds. It can only be used for jail operating expenses.
That 10%, that doesn't come from us, it comes from,
It comes after adjudication, so it would be part of the person's fine.
okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other questions or comments? All right, if there's no objection, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda. Okay.
Looks good.
So done. Our next item is to reappoint Ebony Phillips to post 2 of the Ethics Board for a 4-year term expiring November 19th, 2029. That is so far in the future.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So Ms. Ebony Phillips currently serves on the Ethics Board for the Post 2 position. The Post 2 position must be appointed by a city council, and so she would like to be reappointed in the same position for a 4-year term expiring in 2029.
Okay. And I understand we've not had to use the Ethics Committee too terribly many times. And that is a good thing.
That is correct.
Okay. Councilman Davis, you have a question? Okay. You made a hand gesture. I thought you were. Wait. Never mind. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Now I would assume that everybody was okay that we put this on the consent agenda? All right, we will do that then. Madam Mayor, that is all we have under the Legislative Intergovernmental Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We appreciate that. Thank you to our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Jackson, and our Deputy Chief, J.R. Davison. Thank you for pulling that report and information to us. We'll go on to Personnel and Organization Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. We'll move on. We do have business under Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Planning and Development Committee to order. This evening, some of the items on our agenda will require a public hearing. Before we begin those items, I'd like to briefly review the procedures we will follow to ensure an orderly and fair process. These hearings are conducted in accordance with the Georgia Zoning Procedures Act. As elected officials, it is our responsibility to ensure that all applications are reviewed fairly, impartially, and in accordance with the city's zoning ordinance and adopted land use permit policies. For each zoning item requiring a public hearing, we will begin with a presentation from city staff outlining the request and any relevant findings. The applicant will then have an opportunity to speak. Following those presentations, Mayor and Council may ask questions of both staff and the applicant. After that, we will open the floor for public comment. If you would like to speak in support of or in opposition to the application, please complete a comment card before approaching the podium. Comment cards are located near the entrance of the room and should be submitted to the city clerk before your turn to speak. Please include your name, address, and the item you wish to address, and if possible, any specific questions you would like to ask staff to follow up on. All comments should be made respectfully and directed at the chair. When you speak, please begin by stating your name and address for the record. If you ask a question, please understand that we will not respond immediately during the public comment portion. Instead, staff will attempt to address all questions at once before the close of the public comment period, provided the information is readily available. Each speaker will be allowed to speak 5 minutes. We will allocate a total of 20 minutes for comments in support of and 20 minutes for those in opposition to. This is not a debate. Interruptions, outbursts, and other disruptions will not be permitted. As a reminder, the mayor has requested that there be no applause or other demonstrations during the meeting. Please ensure that all electronic devices are silenced, and anyone who disrupts the proceedings will be asked to leave. And with that, we can proceed. Our first item is item number 26-156. Says to hold a public hearing and consider request for a change in zoning from CBD for Central Business District to PSP for Public Semi-Public District 4 0.07 acres located at 6709 Church Street in Land Lot 16, District 1, Section 5, Parcel ID C013, application by the City of Douglasville. And Ms. Jackson is going to go over this item with us.
Yes, thank you, Councilwoman Miller. As you all know, in order to construct City Hall, Mayor and City Council purchased 3 additional parcels on Church Street. Those parcels are currently zoned CBD. In order to have them properly zoned for the use to construct a City Hall, it would need to be rezoned to PSP. And this was approved by the Planning Commission to be rezoned.
Thank you for that. And just for clarification, we have 3 of these. These first 3, they are all very similar. As it turns out that one of the parcels that we bought was actually 2 parcels in one. So that's why we're looking at 3 tonight. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions on this item? No? Okay. Well, this is a public hearing, so if we have anyone here who would like to speak on this item, you'll please come down. You'll have 5 minutes to speak. And if not, we'll go ahead and close the public comments. Move on to item number 26-158. It says to hold a public hearing and consider a request for change in zoning from CBD, Central Business District, to PSP, Public Semi-Public District 4, 0.04 acres located at 6713 Church Street, on Land Lot 16, District 1, Section 5, Parcel ID C012, application by the City of Douglasville. Ms. Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. This is also another one of the 3 parcels that you all purchased in order to construct City Hall. It's currently zoned right now as CBD, and in order for it to be rezoned to PSP for best use, the Planning Commission is recommending approval of this just so it can follow the same uses as the other parcels that you all have.
Thank you. And if anyone was wondering, once we complete all of these, at a later date, we'll come back and then combine them all into one. So does anyone, Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions of this item? Okay. At this time, if we have anyone who would like to speak on this item, if you'll please come down and give us your name and address for the record. And if not, we will close that public hearing. And move on to item number C, which is 26-159. It says hold a public hearing and consider a request for a change in zoning from CBD, Central Business District, to PSP for Public Semi-Public District for 0.03 acres located at 6717 Church Street in Land Lot 16, District 1, Section 5, Parcel ID C016, application by the City of Douglasville. Ms. Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again, Councilwoman Miller. Again, this is the last of the 3 parcels to be rezoned from CBD to PSP in order for it to be the proper use to construct a City Hall, and the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this item as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Mayor, Council, any questions or comments on this particular item? Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. Madam Chair, I was just going to say, that we included in our packet, I don't know if it's available to the public, we have some, the latest renderings on the City Hall project as well. It's not directly related to what the hearing is for. I just want to compliment GMC that the project looks really good.
It does, doesn't it?
It's going to be something I think we're all going to be very proud of, and it's, I think it's going to come along quite well, so thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Okay. At this time, if we have anyone here who would like to speak on this item, you'll please come down and give us your name and address for the record. And if not, we'll go ahead and close that public hearing as well, and we will take that item up on, or all 3 of those up on Monday. Let me see, D. Our next item is item number 26-154. So it's to hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for fabricated metal products manufacturing for properties zoned light industrial for 4.3 acres located on Van Sant Road and Land Lot 903, District 18, Section 2, Parcel ID 0002, and a portion of Parcel ID 0006. Application by Sheehan Metal Products. Ms. Tubbs.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chelsea Tubbs, 6758 Spring Street, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
This item is a housekeeping item for housekeeping purposes. The proposed application is to allow for the continued operation of fabricated metal manufacturing on Vincent Road. The current code requires that a special land use permit be granted for the proposed use on the property. To give you all a brief background of the property, although the business has been existing, it has been existing and operating since 2011, so a little over 15 years at this time, and they were not issued a special land use permit during that year. Although the code during this time from staff's research required a permit for this type of use in a light industrial zoning designation, and has required one from prior codes, it has always been operable since that time. We believe that it may have been an oversight at the time and that the business had just been allowed to operate without issue. So we did let the applicant know, and they do want to come into compliance with the special land use permit approval.
Okay, thank you for that overview. I understand that things may have slipped, that's been 15 years ago, but I'm glad that we've caught it now. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions for Ms. Tubbs? Yes, ma'am.
I do. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Tubbs, for bringing this information to us. It seems like a housekeeping item, but I just wanted to know if from code compliance, I don't know if Mr. Gray is here, were there any concerns on this property from police or from code that you know of?
None from the police department, no.
Hey, thank you. And we don't know about code?
No, ma'am, but I can take that up on Monday and let you know.
All right, that sounds great. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so we'll just verify that there's no code violations.
Okay, no code either.
Yeah,
All right.
we'll verify that by Monday. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Council, any additional questions or thoughts on this? Okay, and is the applicant here, and do they have anything to add to this?
Yes, they are.
Would they like to come down and add anything?
Madam Chair, I can verify that there have been no code violations prosecuted in municipal court.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you for the clarification. Hey there, if you'll please give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Daniel Sheehan, 4534 Millwater Crossing, Douglasville, Georgia, 30135. Thank you, Councilwoman, for your time and attention to this matter. I don't have much to add beyond what Ms. Tubbs has already outlined. If there are any complaints, if there are any items that need to be addressed, happy to do that, whatever it takes to get things into conformity with what the city would like.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yep, I am familiar with the business and the area. It's a use, use of every, conforming use. It just seems like one of those things that may have slipped through the cracks many years ago, and now we're just kind of having to play catch up a little bit. Okay. Madam Mayor, Council, did you guys have questions of Mr. Sheehan? No? Okay, well, I really appreciate your time and being here this evening. At this time, we do need to hold that public hearing. So if we have anyone here who would like to speak on this item, if you'll please come down and give us your name and address for the record. And if we do not, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and take this item up on Monday. I appreciate you guys on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item is item number 26-155. Says to hold a public hearing and consider a request for a special land use permit for a personal care home for property zoned R2, single-family residential detached, for 1.16 acres located at 6339 Cornelia Drive in Land Lot 22, District 1, Section 5, Parcel ID B007, application by Honor Seniors Personal Care Homes. Ms. Tubbs.
Hello again. The proposed application is to request a special land use permit for a personal care home for property located at 6339 Cornelia Drive, located near Campbellton and Elmer Street. The property is zoned R2, single-family residential detached. The proposal is intended to allow up to a max of 6 residents per RUDO within an existing 5-bedroom ranch-style home for aged ranges 65 to 100. The applicant currently has an existing personal care home within Douglas County and is proposing to expand with special land use consideration within city limits for this property proposed.
Thank you, Ms. Tubbs.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions of Ms. Tubbs while she's up here? Okay.
An applicant is also here.
Thank you. Well, if the applicant would like to come down, if you'll please give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening, City Council members. Good evening to everyone here today. My name is Dahlia Wa. I live in 633 Cornelia Drive, Douglasville. I work for the United States Coast Guard as IT, infrastructure, and cloud engineer. And I also hold government security clearance. I work in high space environment. I'm also the owner and operator of Honor Senior LLC, a licensed personal care home located in Douglasville. I want to use this opportunity to thank you guys for inviting me here today to speak and explain what I want to use this property for. I'm here today to respectfully request approval to open a second Honor Senior personal care home within City of Douglasville. This property is 6339 Cornelia Drive, 2,762 square feet, and it's sitting on 1 acre land with no HOA. About Honor Senior Personal Care Home. Honor Senior Care Home was founded with simple mission to provide safe, respectful, high-quality care for elderly residents in home-like sitting environment. At our current location, we maintain full compliance with the state licensing requirements. We ensure resident safety, dignity, and well-being. We operate with professional staffing and structured care plan. We maintain quiet residential setting that blends smoothly with our community. Our goal is not just to provide care, but also provide dependable support for families who are in need of this kind of personal care home. Reason for expanding: the demand for quality senior personal care home in Douglasville continue to grow. Families are actively seeking smaller, more personal care home environment. This is kind of like alternative to a large assisted living facility. So people who cannot afford to be in the large assisted living facility, these are places that they want to stay, or their budget can't fit. Opening a second location will allow us to serve more residents, reduce the waiting time, continue supporting family within City of Douglasville. Community impact. Our second personal care home will maintain the same low resident capacity to preserve a quiet neighborhood, and which is 6. The state allows only 6 people in a home. Generate local employment opportunity. We work with local doctors, nurses, and CNAs and social workers. Also operate in a way that respects zoning, safety, neighborhood standard. We are committed to being responsible neighbor by maintaining the property to high standard, keeping our communication with the community. Compliance and operations. We fully understand the importance of operation within the city and state requirement. For the new location, we will obtain all required state licenses, approval, follow fire safety and inspection standard, ensure proper staffing and supervision at all times. Our current operation reflects our commitment to doing things the right way, and we will carry that same standard forward. Commitment to City of Douglasville. Douglasville is not just where we operate, it's part of our community. We are committed to provide transparent communication with the city officials, maintaining high standard of care and accountability, contributing positive to the neighborhood and local economy. City Council, please, City Council, please, if the city and the state allow child care in homes or houses, this service align with child care. Why? A question to myself. Because these are our senior citizens who cannot take care of themselves due to medical condition. Please, let's all reflect this. Let's all put ourselves into their shoes. This will bring zero impact to my neighbors because they are always inside the house. These are seniors who cannot afford commercial assisted living facility. Due to this reason, I respectfully ask for your approval to open the second Honor Senior Personal Care Home. This expansion is not just for business decision. It is an opportunity to serve more families, support our aging population, and strengthen our community. Thank you again for your time and consideration. And I look forward to continuing to serve the community of Douglasville. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Would you mind sharing with us a little more about your business plans and what your, what your business model looks like for this particular project?
As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be regulated and it's going to follow the city guidelines and the state guidelines. For us to even go into operations, we need the state approval. How does we get a state approval? They will come to the home, do inspection, make sure the home is equipped with all the required materials before they will allow us to operate. And the service that we provide is pretty much taking care of our elderly seniors who cannot take care of themselves. And also, we want to make sure we do medication management. Some of them, when at this year age 65 to 100 years, research shows that majority of this age group get dementia and they are not able to take their medication as required by their doctors. So these are the people that we are going to help provide medication for them, give them daily meal, and also support them till God calls them.
So what I was actually asking is, would that be you in the home caring for these people?
Yes, I'll be in the home. I'll have one CNA with me as well.
And you mentioned that you have another one of these as well, so will you just be divided between the two homes?
Good question. So my wife is going to be there taking care of them. I'm going to be here with one CNA to support them.
Okay. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions of the applicant? Yes, ma'am.
I do. Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. Thank you so much for presenting to us this evening, and thank you for your service that you give. We appreciate that, and the Coast Guard. So to answer, just to reiterate for Councilmember Chair's question, so do you own this home currently?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir. And you own the other personal care home that you're currently operating?
Yes.
So your wife will be the manager at that personal care home, and you'll be the one.
And I will take care of this one.
Y'all not gonna be living together?
Actually, we will see each other every day. Why? Because it's like, there are some days she will be helping over there. Also, that place we have one CNA who is always on site. So her duty is just supervise. My duty is also supervise.
To supervise,
Yeah.
Okay. So, but you won't be the day-to-day manager. You have another home that you live in, where y'all together, or you live in Cornelia, or you guys live in I'm trying to get all in your personal business, but I'm sincerely trying to see who manages day to day.
So now I'm in Cornelia Drive, and my families are in Locklear Way, 6094 Locklear Way.
Yes, sir.
It's an HOA, but I haven't had any issue with my neighbor, and my neighbors also support what I do, and I haven't get any complaints from the HOA so far.
Okay, that's good. Now, I wanted to, I think you answered everything outside of and I think this will be for staff, for us to kind of have an inventory of personal care homes versus, I know we just passed a nice development in Arbor Station, which is not very far away for seniors, and our senior stock, and the balance of apartments, like Benton House and different facilities. So if we can get maybe some kind of inventory to show us, so that we'll have a balance of services for everyone, from seniors and all of that, all through.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Tubbs.
Sorry, I can provide that information for you on Monday. So you're asking for the count of current senior facilities as far as
Yes.
apartments and personal care homes, or anything of those alike?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I can provide that information on Monday.
Great, so we can just do a balance, not to say that it isn't a need, because we do know that Americans are living longer, and we need a place for everyone to live. But I know we passed, even in Tributary, or I'm not certain of the area, but there's a memory care center, and so we do provide services for seniors, and we just want to not have a plethora of one or the other type of housing, but a nice variety and a balance.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
that's all. Thank you so much. And it would be special land use. This is not guaranteed. It's your home, and you can actually ask, and it's your right to do that, but we need to make certain that we're doing a balance for everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's all I had.
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Coach, I believe you had something?
Yes, sir. The other personal care home that you operate, how long have you had that one?
A year and 8 months now.
How long?
1 year and 8 months.
8 months.
Almost 2 years now.
Okay. And how many tenants do you have in that particular home? It's my understanding that is located in the county.
6, yes.
Okay.
6 people, and that's the max I can have. And I work with the county and the city. The county social workers, state of Georgia social workers. So they keep calling me. I wasn't planning to open a second one, but the calls that are coming and the waiting list, I decided to just expand.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Coach. Anyone else? Councilman Estes?
Is this house already outfitted for this use, or are you going to have to do some renovations, or?
Good question. So since I've already had one before, looking for another place, I make sure it fits the requirement of the state, because I know if I don't find the right property, I will get denied from the state, so it fit. And also, the fire marshals will come before I go to the state. It is required for the fire marshals to come to the house, do inspection, point out things that I need to upgrade before they will also give me the certificate, because without the fire marshal certificate, I cannot get approved from the state.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That's all.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Estes. I'm curious then, it was mentioned that this was a 5-bedroom house, but the tax records indicate that it's a 3-bedroom house.
Good question. I bought it as it is. When I was buying it, actually, all the website, it says 3-bedroom, but the owner, when I walk in, it was already 5-bedroom. So I haven't done anything or yeah.
So it's a 5-bedroom?
Yes. Actually, it stayed on records that, it was 3. However, when I bought it, it's already, other extra 2 bedrooms, which is within the same, house.
Right, so then we don't know if that was permitted and up to code or not. Okay. Okay. Were there any other questions?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Is the house all on one level?
It's all one level house, yeah.
Okay.
It's together. The additional 2 bedrooms is within the house. It's not separate from the house. Okay. I guess it was a big space and they divided it.
Okay.
Yeah. I also asked them why is it like, it says, 3 and then this, and they said, it was just additional space, and they were running business in the building as well. So it was a house that I think they were already using to run business, and you guys can also check online to see the business they were running over there. So I just was lucky to have additional extra 2 bedrooms.
And are you adding parking to the parking area, or is it utilizing what's there?
Yes, there's a 4 parking space, and I'm planning to add additional 2, but I need the city approval before I can do the additional 2.
Obviously, I'm sure you're well aware of ADA and how that works.
Please,
I'm sure you're well aware of ADA and how that works and how that's required.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Okay. If there are not any other questions, we do need to go ahead and have that public hearing. So at this time, we'll start with if we have anyone to speak in favor of this item. If you'll come up, give us your name and address for the record. If you've not already gotten a comment card, you can grab one after and just make sure that the city clerks get it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Ejapon, and I reside at 7019 Morningside. I've been here, so I've seen a lot of familiar faces. Dolly's my brother, so this is more like a family business. We're here to request a special land use permit to continue to serve the society. And we believe that granting us this permit, not only you pretty much investing into significantly into the seniors, their well-being as well, because there's a lot of people that we have that they don't have families. There are some that actually don't live here in Georgia. They live in like different cities. So when we bring them in, we provide them, like pretty much I have kids. So most of them that doesn't actually have kids, I always bring my kids around just to give them the sense of belongings and stuff because they don't have family. So we're here to plead with you because I've been here before to look into all this perspective and grant us this permit and continue to serve the city of Douglasville. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else to speak in favor of this item?
Hello, good evening. My name is Cynthia Bliss. I am here to actually represent, not represent, but to speak in favor of what Dali is doing. Dali is more or less like a brother. Can you hear me?
You have to give us your address, please.
My address, 4005 Jeffers Point in Villa Rica.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So basically, for me, from my perspective, I'm a project manager. I've been handling different projects. I also have worked with seniors across Georgia, and sometimes I step in. If Dali needs some assistance or something, I step in to help out. And I have seen the demand. And we all are aging. And one day we could be in that same position. So if it's not going to be a problem, if you're able to grant this permit, it would really, really mean the world to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council members. Thank you
evening.
very much for allowing to speak up. Amy McCoy, 9938 Ashton Old Road, Douglasville, Georgia. So we know that housing affordability is always an issue, and I want to keep that in the same purview with assisted care, right? My grandmother lives in an assisted facility. As an introvert with extrovert tendencies, I sometimes don't want to be around a whole bunch of people. And that's one of the things that I love about when personal care homes, because it's much smaller. It fills a void for a certain need, and it sometimes is a more affordable option for a lot of people. And that's something we have to consider. When we're thinking of those that are able bodies right now are having those challenges with affordability, that's something that more of the personal care homes can provide on a smaller scale. So just kind of keep that in mind, but I am in favor of this. I've already looked online, I've already seen certain things that they've done. I've looked at the home just based from online. I think it would be a great option to, again, diversify options for everyone around Douglasville. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, if you'll please give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Kenneth Wayne Bostic. I live at 6094 Locklear Way, Douglasville, Georgia, 30134. I've been there since the end of January, since I got dismissed from the hospital. And I'm glad that my son did find this place for me because it has straightened me from my old ways that I was living since I lost my wife 4 years ago. And I went down the wrong way. But now I'm happy, and I've got friends, and my health is better. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for that. Okay. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak in favor of this item? Okay, if not, let's move along to if there's anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this item. If you'll please come down and give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Kima Tillman, and the property address where I live is 8825 Elma Street, which is right around the corner from the subject property. I have been a resident of Douglas County for over 30 years, and though I will be the first to recognize that there is a need for this type of business, this is the exact type of business that I've seen erode the quality of living in Douglas County as a whole. I've seen neighborhoods go down one after the other from having these types of businesses. though I applaud it, it's the right business but the wrong community. I think it would adversely affect property values and overall erode the quality of living. Additionally, once these types of businesses are granted, today we're speaking of an elderly care home, but is a slippery slope to allow for maybe a juvenile delinquents to come live there down the road, et cetera. Though I respect the gentleman's ambitions, I submit it's the wrong neighborhood, and I would respectfully ask that you decline. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Hello, if you'll please give us your name and address for the record.
This morning, thank you. My name is Andrea Hubbard, 6268 Cornelia Drive, which is also right down the street. And I do really, really admire what he's going to do. I just don't want him to do it in my neighborhood. And I couldn't agree with my neighbor even more about the deterioration of it. I'm not saying that it will happen, but the bottom line, this is a business you're trying to open up in my neighborhood where I live and plan to not ever move. Now, I don't also like that you want to compare it to childcare, because childcare, if they come, they only there for a couple of hours. They're not there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the bottom line, you want to open up a business where I live in a community, and the reason I purchased that house was because of the neighborhood and my neighbors. And I like it like that, and I like to stay, because I'm afraid that once you open this door, what's next to come in? At what point do we say no? I truly, what he does is admirable, but do it someplace else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Susan McGaha. I live at 8858 Van Zandt Street, and I helped take care of my mother who lived to be 99 and 10 months, and I know what that's about. I know I've seen people age. I've seen their health decline, and I did a smattering of research on a personal care home, and it says the ratio is one CNA, one supervisor, to up to 15 in these smaller homes. And they have to be ambulatory, and he referenced people with dementia. And so you have 6 people in a 3 or 5 bedroom home, which that doesn't sound real clear either. But so are we talking co-ed? What happens if you have 4 with dementia and they all have to go to the restroom at the same time, and you have one supervisor? I just have some concerns from my personal experience. I agree wholeheartedly. We need more elderly care in our state and our country overall. Like I said, I saw my mother age. But our neighborhood is really not the place for that business, I believe. He seems to be courteous and respectful, and I admire that. It's not easy to come ahead and do this because, he's trying to open a business. But I am concerned overall about really whether the people that come in there whether it's the right place for them. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have anyone else who would like to speak in opposition to this item? All right. That being said, then we will close the public hearing. Did you want to speak in opposition to your item?
I want to say something.
Okay, but let me wrap up the public hearing right quick. Okay, so we will go ahead and close the public hearing. We will take the rest of that up on Monday. Sir, you had something to add to that?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just want to answer some questions because I was able to talk to some neighbors who giving me their support. They were not able to come here. And some neighbors too, I was able to knock their door. They didn't come out and I couldn't get a chance to speak with them. So I presume these are those people I wasn't able to speak with them. So I just want to ask a question, the woman who just left here. She said that, 6 people in a small room, she's more concerned about that. Okay, so there's a room, there's a size. It's 2 people in a shared room. If you look at the setting, so it will have a hospital bed, 2 hospital beds in a room. However, the size, I don't even determine it. I need, the fire department will tell me that this room can take only 1 person, this room can take 2 persons. So this is something I'm going to get permission from. There's a standard to it. I don't determine that. And, they want to make sure these residents are safe. So they want to make sure there's some space in between them. So that is one of her question. Also, she talked about dementia and stuff like that. Yes. This is why the state of Georgia will have regulations and rules to follow to manage this business. And then the state also come there every 3 months without my knowledge, without anybody's knowledge, just randomly bump in, check to make sure you are following the requirement. And also, any resident that comes there, the family members also come visit them, and then they want to make sure that they have a good place, good settings for their family. So if they see anything, they report. My licenses can be held and be revoked. So due to this, I make sure I follow all the state requirements. So it's not just I'm gonna put people into room just like that. No, there are some steps and procedures that I need to follow, and they come check in often. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay. Madam Mayor, Council, did you guys have additional questions or thoughts? Coach?
Just out of curiosity, the property that you already are operating, how often this doesn't have anything to do with us? I'm just curious, how often does the state come out to observe or check on?
Good question. Every 3 months without my knowledge. I don't know, within 3 months, I don't know when they are coming. They don't tell you, they will just boom, 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 boom. They walk in, go to each resident, talk to each resident without me being present to ask the president or the resident how is she feeling? Is there anything that she's worried about? Anything that she's not happy about? All complaints, they take it serious, and any complaints can due to revoking your license. So they come there randomly without my knowledge.
And just one last question. You said, it says in the information, residents do not drive because they have disabilities and are not independent.
Yeah.
Now, you don't know, if you were to get approved for something like this, you don't know who your residents are going to be. So do you have a rule in place that does not allow for residents to be there that aren't?
So I have a category of list that I follow to admit a patient. If a resident is able to drive, that person is considered as independent person. And, I will not be able to take them because it's like, they can do their things, go buy their food. So why would he come to a place like this?
Right.
These are people who are in wheelchair. My other place, I have residents there right now. They are just in wheelchair. Morning, we give them bath. We serve them breakfast. We give them their medicine. And then afternoon, we give them lunch. We check if they are wet. We change their diapers, put them back in their chair, watch TV, play bingo with them, just to make them happy before they die.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right.
Madam Chair, that's all I had.
Of course. Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you so much for responding to some of the concerns. I did just want to bring to your attention, I know you went before the Planning Commission on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, and they are a recommending body, but their recommendation was to deny the application. I just want you to have in your mindset, which I know you know, and we appreciate you investing in the city and purchasing land in the city, believing in the vision of the city of Douglasville. But to understand folks who live in the community that purchase their home for a certain lifestyle, character, and just a feel for the neighborhood. So It would change the feel of the neighborhood, especially if it's 6 people to a home. We can't verify. I don't know if we can verify by Monday if it's a 3-bedroom or a 5-bedroom. But just if you purchase a home, which is maybe a largest investment that you'll make, with one thing in mind, and then the community changes. So just think about that. Not that we will do exactly what the Planning Commission says. We make our own decisions as this body, but that is something to take into consideration.
Thank you for addressing this. As I said, I mean, the community is about, if I'm not mistaken, I was able to knock about 16, doors to speak with people, right? So majority of people were okay with it. Some asked me questions, some have no even idea about it. One person told me, please, I have a grandma at home that I would like, would you consider taking her? I'm like, yes, if only I get approved.
Yes,
so
sir.
I understand everything. This is just people as I'm saying, this land is not HOA. Where I'm living right now is an HOA. This is my house, another house.
Yes.
This is my house, another house. This is like 1 acre land, just 2,000 square feet land. It's a lot of space. So I'm not going to, do anything bad or harm our community or cause any degradation to the community.
Yes, sir.
I just want to support these elderly people. And I didn't even know I was going to go through this. I would have like, okay, if supporting is a problem, then let me stop what I'm doing.
Yes,
because
sir.
I can provide a list of state social workers calling me every day. Do you have space? As this man said, he has been living with me for a couple of months now. You all heard what he said. So none of my neighbors has, knocked my door, complained, or none of my neighbors are worried or anything. And that's an HOA community.
Yes, sir. I understand. So thank you so much. And 18 months is a time. It's not a long time, but it's a time to prove yourself in the community at large. And so, and the perception could be, I'm just looking for homes to do a business in. I'm going to buy a home here in this community, a home here in this community, and continue to have a business. When I moved to my house, it wasn't a business, it was a residential portion. So I do understand. I understand. And you have witnesses and people that have spoken in your favor. They have a vested interest with your family or someone who lives there. The people who are in opposition are the ones who actually live in the community, invested their time, that's their home. So it's just it's a lot for us to think about. So I just want you to know we don't take it lightly, and we appreciate you coming in.
I totally understand that all
Yes, sir.
matters are important. That is why, as I said, I was able to knock not less than 16 people just to explain it to them.
Yes, sir.
And also, if I knew it was going to be something like this, to be honest, I would have stopped. Because now I feel very stressed, because I feel like I'm trying to help the community and people are opposing it. I also understand where they are coming from.
Yes.
But one thing that we should all think about is it could be any of us.
Right.
Not everybody can afford a standard living facility. So these are people who are looking for a place like this to stay with their low budget.
I understand. I have a 90-year-old mother-in-law, and she lives with my sister-in-law, from her own independent to a facility, and now with her daughter. So I get it.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a need. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you both so very much. Okay. Let's try to go ahead and wrap this up if we can. Staff, I know Madam Mayor, Ms. Tubbs had asked if we can just get a list on Monday of some of the current inventory of senior housing that we have. And I know that we had talked about that earlier in the planning development meeting, but if we can get something, I guess, that's can tell us how many senior living facilities that we have, but across the board, as well as the senior apartments and senior condos or whatever, and the different price points, different types that we have right here in the city. And if we could also find out how many we have coming online as well, because I know that we've got several that are in the works. And then would it be possible to find out as well, I guess if this is truly, on tax records, a 3-bedroom or a 5-bedroom? I'm a little curious.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was all. Okay. All right. Let's take this item up on Monday. Thank you all. Item number 26-160 says to hold a public hearing and consider request for proposed amendment from Section 3.07 of the Unified Development Ordinance to amend the proposed language describing the purpose and intent of the PRD for Planned Residential Development Zoning District. Application by the City of Douglasville. Ms. Tubbs.
Okay, so currently Section 3.07, which is known as you all's PRD, Planned Residential Development Zoning Designation, as each other zoning designation would have its own intended purpose statement at the beginning of, before you get to the lot development standards of how you would build that zoning designation. It does not reference townhomes. It does mention multifamily. However, within the lot development standards of how you will build those types of developments out, it does mention townhomes, as well as in your section 2.02, your allowed uses table, it does mention that in PRD it allows for townhomes. So pretty much we're just asking to clean up this, clean up the purpose statement for PRD to just put in text information regarding townhome dwellings. It'll essentially have both townhome dwellings and multifamily dwellings within that text.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for going over all of that with us and explaining that to me earlier as well. Madam Mayor, Council, do you guys have questions of the Madam Mayor?
I do. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Tubbs, for bringing this to us. It seems like it's just at blush, it's the townhomes. Now, do we have to go into, and you said multi-dwellings, are we going to now come and say condos, tiny homes, so-and-so, you know, when we get the little box homes inside of the trailers or whatever. So do we have to go through all of that, or this is just a portion? Okay.
No, this is just a portion of it. We're just fixing it, just an error because townhomes is not listed within that text. However, we have previously approved developments that do have townhomes within that PRD zoning designation. So we're just trying to clean it up.
Okay, so we don't, when something else comes and someone wants to do condos, will it covers that as well, or?
No, it doesn't cover condos, but if that was something that we did want to add to UDO at that time, it'll be a separate text amendment. This text amendment essentially is just for the cleanup purposes of adding townhomes at this time.
Okay, because I know we were looking at tiny homes as well and some other variety of homes. So I guess we'll cross the bridge when we get there.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, did that clear up your questions? And were there any additional questions on what we're doing here? We're just simply adding the townhomes to this. Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, it's actually a housekeeping item more than anything because townhomes are already listed in the chart as a type of use along with single-family detached as well. It's just the description, the summary in the first sentence area that is missing the word townhomes, and it just says high-density apartments. So it's listed later on in that same section. It's just not, so it's already been approved. It's just adding in that summary section so that the two match.
Okay.
And there have been a number of these approved. Van Sant Road was one of them. Laurelwood, which is by Arbor Place Mall, is another one of them. So the city, since adopting the new UDO in 2020, has made a practice of following the chart instead of the summary line.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Okay. Well, for this housekeeping item, we still get to have another public hearing. So if we have anyone here who would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to, if you'll please come down, give us your name and address for the record. And if not, we will close the public hearing and take that item up on Monday. Madam Mayor, that is all that we have this evening for planning and development.
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman, and thank you to Ms. Tubbs, excuse me. We'll move on to Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have one item this evening. That is item number 26-164. So it's to appoint Jessica Jackson to the Keep Douglasville Beautiful Board, Post 7, to fill an unexpired term expiring December 31st, 2028. Ms. Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Councilwoman Miller. The post 7 position of the Keep Douglasville Beautiful Board was recently vacated due to a member unable to serve their full term. Staff alongside Councilwoman Miller did interview 3 individuals that were interested in that position. Staff recommendation alongside Councilwoman Miller's recommendation is for council to appoint Ms. Jessica Jackson to serve in this unexpired term.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. And once we fill this position, we will then have a full board again, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if anyone was curious, this was one of the hardest interview processes. Like, we've got some great candidates. It makes my heart so happy that we have people in the community ready to and serve and help. It's really beautiful. And I think that the other applicants that we talked to, it seems like maybe they're looking into some other boards as well. So
That's good.
wonderful. All right. Do y'all have any questions or thoughts on it?
I have a comment, and I just want to
Yes,
say,
ma'am.
just echo that. It's such a blessing to have people that want to serve and volunteer their time. And this Keep Douglasville Beautiful is really, I don't want to say it's grimy, but it's a board that you're picking up trash.
That's a
You know, and
hard-working
trying to
board.
keep
It
the
is.
community. Yeah, so it's something that we really appreciate, taking pride in our community. So I know that she's one of the members of the DILSA Douglasville, so giving her time for that as well. So we really appreciate people to serve on our boards and authorities. So thank you,
Awesome.
Madam Chair.
Absolutely, Madam Mayor. Okay. Are you guys comfortable placing this on the consent agenda? Wonderful. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. That is all that we have this evening for public improvement and beautification.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Miller. We appreciate that, Madam Chair, and to our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson. I was getting Chelsea Jackson, Chelsea Tubbs. It's a Chelsea's choice. All right, we'll move on to item 12, which is Public Relations Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No items at this time, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilman Davis. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Public Safety Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. I will move on to Tourism Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you, Coach. Technology Committee, chaired by Councilmember Devitrion Caldwell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Technology Committee has no business tonight.
Thank you, Councilman Caldwell. We do have business under Transportation Committee. That is chaired by Councilmember Elena Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item under the Transportation Committee this evening. Item A, authorize the mayor to sign the Georgia Department of Transportation 2026 Supplemental LMIG LRA grant application for a grant for road maintenance in the amount of $515,793.17. And Mr. Todd Dresdo, you're going to walk us through this?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Good evening. Todd Dresdo, Public Services Department, 8145 Cedar Mountain Road. So we are asking for your permission and approval to apply for this grant. This is the 2026 Local Road Assistance Grant, better known to us as a supplemental LMIG. It's kind of a second LMIG for this year because it's administered through GDOT's program. So as you mentioned, just over $500,000 available. There's no match required for us to get this grant. We just got to apply for it. And usually we would come to you with a proposed project. In this case, you've already approved some really substantial road maintenance projects. So we're suggesting that we use these funds towards an existing project and just make it more affordable. So that's it for now. I've included some information on current and recent projects. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Did I hear you say free money?
I didn't say it, but.
That sounds like a bet to me, as I know we have participated in this grant application program before. It's been tremendously successful in helping us get our infrastructure updated and get our roads drivable. And everyone's favorite topic of conversation is potholes. And so this grant, I think, is exactly the kind of fuel we need to just keep addressing these issues and making sure that we are keeping the city safe. Mayor, Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Dresdo? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. The department, you and Ms. Burdette, for what you all do in continuing to reach out for these grants and opportunities to help the city resurface our streets. And I appreciated that Douglasville does that. Citizens can drive with confidence. My family took me to Atlanta Fish Market on Sunday. We drove through Buckhead. I told Mayor Dickens yesterday my husband's rim is $200 cracked from a pothole. And he just laughed at me yesterday at ARC. So it's a blessing to know that, again, we have the confidence that you can drive on roads, and we continue to resurface our streets to fill potholes and cracks. And we appreciate that we have this money, and we have a list already prepared that's itemized from AECom that's given us all of our streets and the criteria and what streets need to be resurfaced when, and the importance of that. So thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Council, do you have any other questions for Mr. Drysdale? All right. I would love to put this on the consent agenda if you guys would love to. All right. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. That's all we have for Transportation Committee this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Hudson and Mr. Drysdale. We appreciate that. Any other business to come before council tonight from the elected officials? Yes, sir, Mr. Estes.
Just a real quick comment. I know a large part of the reason for the concert series was to draw people
Yes, sir.
to downtown to support the businesses here. And I just wanted to brag on how successful that has been.
Yes.
For the last concert with Departure, Fabiano's had their highest sales ever.
Are you? Wow.
And it was directly due to the crowd from Departure. So the concerts are working.
Very good, very good. I'm glad to hear that. They were a good
Yes.
band, too.
Yes.
They were really good. Thank you. That's encouraging to hear. And anyone else? But in that same vein, talking about the town green, we did have Groove on the Green today, which is the seniors services initiative with Douglas County and the City of Douglasville Parks and Recreations. That's then the 30th year that we've had a collaborative effort with the county and Parks Department to honor our seniors. So that was exciting. They were grooving at 11 o'clock. They start early. They got here at 9 o'clock. They were dancing to the cowgirl and all of that at 11, and they started at 9, so that was very successful. This Saturday is Taste of Douglasville from 11 to 5. This is their 36th year that's going to be in the town green, so we encourage citizens to come. That Cultural Arts Council has that event every year to come and taste food from downtown and all the restaurants, and it'll be really fun. Every Tuesday on the town green is the farmers market. Fresh fruits and vegetables every Tuesday from 3:30 to 6. Is that right time, Ms. Jackson?
I believe it's 3 to 7.
3 to
I'm looking
7.
at Ms. Burdette. Is it
Anyway, I bought a lot
6:30?
of
I'm
broccoli.
sorry. 6:30. Staff
6:30, okay. 3:30 to 6:30. Every Tuesday until September, the farmers market. And when FIFA comes to Atlanta, if you don't want to drive down in the traffic, the City of Douglasville is one of 15 departments or agencies or communities. One is Sandy Springs, Douglasville, some other areas that we have watch parties. They start June 15th. It'll be Spain versus Cabo. So we have 6. We've been awarded that permit to have 6 of those showings of the FIFA games. They start June 15th and they go through July the 15th. So lots going on the town green. I think it is very successful. It's a nice gathering space for the community, and we appreciate the support of our Parks Department and Ms. Thrasher, our director, and what we do there. And our active seniors, as we had, I saw her come up today, running with her hoops. They have on poof skirts and ballerina. I'm gonna walk and run one day. I know, you're waiting for me. Okay, so that's other business. So we'll move on to updates from our city staff, our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Dotson. Our staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
No business, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Our police department, our deputy chief, J.R. Davison.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chief. In the City Manager's office, our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor.
Really? Okay. Comments from citizens and delegates. If you sustain the meeting, you'd like to speak to us, please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business germane to the City of Douglasville. note takers, Councilman Davis can say. If we don't have any other business, then this meeting is adjourned.